page. Where did it go? I just saw it. Oh, it's right here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first time home buyers workshop presented by our financial wellness ministry, and our coordinator is Kiera Hall. I'm excited about this opportunity because even though we find ourselves in the midst of a pandemic and many people are suffering, we have to be prepared and we have to have vision. And this is a time where, unfortunately, many people, landlords and so forth, will lose homes, and we have to make sure that we have vision, so that when ebbs and flows run our directions and run across our path, that we're in position to take advantage and of those opportunities, not advantage of the people, but advantage of the opportunities, and build wealth and a legacy for our families. And so I want to present our financial wellness coordinator for Greater Bethel AME Church, Kiera Hall.
Hey, thank you so much for the introduction, Daddy. And thank you everybody for joining this. My goal of this session is I have a presentation, but I really don't even want to do it. I want it to be more like informal, relaxed. People get to ask their questions and we discuss some ideas, and it even to be a collaborative meeting, because I know I'm not the only person on here who understands real estate. I'm sure there are probably people watching that are real estate investors, have been in the industry for a long time. And so this isn't necessarily a meeting where I hold the floor, but I am gonna lay out some framework, some basic info that I believe will help people tremendously. I'm gonna breeze through my presentation like super quick. Okay, it's only 13 pages, but I'm gonna breeze through it. And if you want me to dig into something more, I want you to there's a little reaction, and you can put up a hand or make some type of thumbs up or hey, or you can just literally say, hey, can you go back to that? And then I'll slow down and pause on certain areas, because my idea is not to overwhelm you with information, but give you enough and give you an understanding to inspire you to action. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen quickly, and I'm going to go over is the pre-approval process. So unless you just have all the cash up front, you most likely will get a mortgage. And I'm going to talk to you about what it takes to be able to qualify for a mortgage. What are some things that can help you to be able to purchase that home? And what resources are even out there, like down payment assistance programs and different things that your realtor could do to get credits to help you to be able to purchase that home without having to come out of pocket with as much money up front. So I'm going to share my screen and just go through a quick little presentation that my company made for me. After I shared with them what I want to do, they created a presentation for me. And let's see, how do I share? Okay, so share. And then I'm just going to breeze through this, and then we'll go into Q&As. And then I'll also be looking out on the Facebook to see if anybody has any questions on there as well, and I'll help answer those questions if I catch them. All right, can y'all see my screen well? Okay, perfect. So I just gotta get in presentation mode. Here we go. So first time home buyers workshop. And so we'll go over pre-approvals, documents that you'll need, realtor communication, the search and the offer. I'm also going to share a cool tool some cool tools I have on my website. I won't go through all of the specifics, but I'll just let you know so you could see okay, I'm paying this much for rent. What could I possibly afford in a mortgage with how much I'm paying right now for rent comfortably? So I'll show you a cool tool that you could use. We'll go through the loan process, estimated out of pockets, homeowner insurance, and yeah. So let me quickly go through this and let's see how I control it. There we go. So pre-approvals, what is it? Why do I need one? What is required? And pre-approval, full approval. So basically, a pre-approval is just you getting a positive notification or letter from a mortgage lender saying, hey, you can qualify or buy this much of a home. And so before you start getting your eyes set on what you want, the first step really should be to go ahead and get that pre-approval and pre-qualification, so you see where you stand, what work needs to be done, and what you actually could afford within your budget. Now, let's see. There we go. So these are 3 factors that we're going to be looking at that are super important when it comes to your loan. So one is the loan to value ratio. So if you are going to be purchasing a home, the loan can't be more than the home is worth, okay? And then with certain loan types, they're going to be wanting a down payment so that your ratios will stay in line with that. And I'm not going to dig into it, but basically we're just wanting to make sure that when we give you a loan for this home, that it's actually worth it. That way, if anything happened, the loan is at least the value of the home. But these are the 2 that I think concern you the most as the buyers. So debt to income ratio. And a debt to income ratio, I want to make this super simple. All it is looking at how much money do you bring in every month? And then the other question becomes,
y'all come get it tomorrow, okay?
how much are your monthly debt payments? And if you bring in $2,000 a month and you have debt payments of $1,000 a month, then your debt to income ratio is 50%. That's before you even add a home into the mix. And so when it comes to debt to income ratio, if you are thinking of getting a new car, but you haven't got it yet, and you're still holding on to a car that maybe is paid off or it's a lower payment, it's an older car, I want you to think twice before you get the new car, because if you get a car payment that's higher, it's going to affect your debt to income ratio, and that car payment is actually taking away from your home buying power. Does that make sense? If you have a question, just stop me. But that's the big one. Does that make sense to everybody? The debt to income ratio, kind of understand this is my income, and then basically my debt becomes a ratio. And then when we're looking at your mortgage numbers, it's going to vary what's acceptable depending on what type of loan you get. But your goal is that your mortgage is less than 30% of your overall income. And then on the back end, though, if your debt is really high, like let's say you got like multiple car payments and credit cards and just a lot of obligations to debt, it will actually take away from the amount of buying power, because the lender wants to see that, okay, can this person handle the debt? And if your ratios become too high, then you wouldn't even be able to get a mortgage. And so the first step would be to deal with those ratios. And depending on how motivated you are, it could be worth it to sell your car and get a used cash car, maybe just sell it temporarily so you can get your home. And then But those are the type of things that we look at. But before you go making decisions about debt, I would highly recommend speak with a mortgage lender, and I am one. If you want to speak to me, I'm totally available, and I'll make my information available at the end. But speak to a mortgage lender, get them to check out where you stand, and then you can see what are the possibilities with your current situation. And today I was able to give someone a pre-qualification level whose income was less than $3,000 a month. So just because you don't make a lot of money, that does not mean that you can't purchase a home at all. And then credit, we're going to be looking at your credit score, but it might not, well, it's not going to be what you see on Credit Karma. It is going to be, we look at the middle score, my company. So you have 3 scores: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And we don't take the highest score. We don't take the lowest score. We look at the one right in the middle, and that's our decision-making score. And typically what I do is once I get an application in, I review the file, I see where the credit is, and then I look for opportunities for improvement. I run a simulator to even help people get in a better, like a better score so that they can get better mortgage rates.
Oh, I need her information.
Hey, and I got you. I will share my info at the end. And stop me if you have any questions. So I'm digging in on this page a lot. Everything else I'm gonna kind of breeze through, but I'm digging in on this page because I think this is huge. And this sets up, the expectation for being able to afford. And then something I want to share with you is look at a home as a stepping stone. Don't necessarily look at it as your end all be all, because maybe your first home becomes a home that you keep and it wasn't the dream home, but it's something you keep, and maybe you rent it for a while, or maybe you get some equity in it like my brother and his wife did, and then you move up and you got a big time, beautiful place. Maybe one of my friends is doing Airbnb with her home, and literally within a couple nights of Airbnb, she's paying off the mortgage, just renting out her house through Airbnb. Like the same way people do Uber with their cars, you could Airbnb your home. So there's so many creative ideas that could allow you to have your home not only be something that you live in or something that's just for your family, but it could be an investment, a money-making tool. It could be really cool. And some documents you'll need. This is kind of like a boring page, but I'll go through it. So W-2s, tax returns, your pay stub, so we can verify your income, bank statement, so we can see where your assets are and what you stand, in a copy of your driver's license. Once you get your pre-qualification level letter, right, you're ready for the next step. You can go ahead and talk to that realtor, and the realtor, I will send them over the pre-qualification letter. I'll have a discussion with them, let them know what you can qualify for, and then they can start searching for a property for you. And once you find what you like, you make an offer on it. 2 things could happen. 1, your offer could actually get rejected because there could be multiple bids on that property, and if your offer wasn't the most beautiful offer, they could say nope. So I want you to understand that, or it could be accepted and then you move forward in the process, which it's a whole process of, we go through processing and underwriting and verification of everything. And that's when we start digging deeper into it. And my job as a loan originator, I love the way that I was taught this, but it's basically to paint a beautiful picture to underwriting, to help give you the best chances so that your loan can close and be approved. And so just making it very clear, what is the income, what is the employment, explaining any differences, and just painting the clearest picture ever, providing all the documentations so that it just runs through smoothly. Out of pocket, it's gonna vary because you have like USDA loans or VA loans where there's 100% financing, which includes 100% of the purchase amount of the loan, and it covers like a guarantee fee for the USDA, but that doesn't necessarily cover closing costs. And so typically when someone is purchasing a home, you are going to come out of pocket thousands of dollars. And so you are going to want a savings, but that can be offset assistance programs, seller credits, and different things like that, depending on how ready to get rid of this home your seller is. You know, there could be amazing credits in there for you, but it's going to vary. And this would just be a conversation you want to have with a mortgage loan originator to figure out what those costs are, because it'll vary per the price of the home and whatnot. But you see, I've listed a couple of prices, like an appraisal, which is typically, you know, around $450. And I've entered, you know, an inspection. And so these are all costs that come as part of your closing. Escrow account and application. So typically, we'll set up an account and you'll make one payment, and then that one payment will actually go towards not only your mortgage, but your insurance and taxes, all kind of bundled in one. And so that's what that escrow account does. It helps take care of the insurance and taxes. This is a big page, do's and don'ts. So you are going to purchase a new home, this is what you want to stay away from. Don't increase your current credit card balance. But let me just keep it super simple. Don't do anything. Don't quit your job and all of a sudden get a new job in a new area. Don't apply for any new lines of credit. Don't do nothing. Just pause, freeze, talk to a mortgage loan originator, and then they'll let you know what you need to do. And then you just want to follow that till you close on that home. After you close on your home, then you can go do other stuff. Perfectly be wise stuff, not anything that'll cause you to lose your home or, you know, become overwhelmed and things. But try your best to return the documents as soon as possible. And for getting an insurance agent, you know, I have people that I typically refer to, but you could find your own. And then consult your mortgage professional before you make any changes. I know some people who will decide like, oh, I want to get a home, and then they'll just start paying off this, like all this different stuff. And it doesn't necessarily help with the goal. So it would be better if you just consult a mortgage professional, because then they can guide you and see what things paying off right now could actually help your credit score, what things actually do nothing. And you would want to be in a situation where you have as much money reserved as possible so that you can go into this home comfortably and not be like house broke. And this is my contact information, and I wanted to talk shorter, but it's all good. But the presentation part is over, and now we are opening it up for, oh wait, I want to show you one more thing real quick. Let me stop share to this, and I'm just going to show you one tool real quick on my website. How do I do it? I think, let's see, share. Let's see, KiaraHallLeader1.com. So this is my website, KiaraHallLeader1.com. There's a pretty cool resource on it that I like, where you're able to look at whether you should rent or buy. And when you click on that tab, you actually could put in your rent payment, right? So let's say you're paying $1,000 a month for rent, and it will give you an idea of how much. Oh, pause that real quick. But it'll take you through like how much of a mortgage you could possibly afford with the amount that you're spending on rent. And then it goes through some of the benefits of home ownership, like being able to get deductions and stuff on your taxes, and how you actually save money, and how when you purchase a home, instead of paying rent to pay off your landlord's house, you could be paying off your own house. And then one last idea that I want to throw out there is, and my brother actually shared this idea with me, but multifamily housing, like buying a duplex and you live on one side and you rent out the other. And so the place where you actually live could potentially pay for itself and actually bring some income in. But there's so many different ideas and different ways where you could own. But now I want to open up the door to or the floor for any questions. So does anybody have any questions?
Hello, Kiara. This is Marie Cochran. Thank you so much for this presentation. I wanted to get on at a different capacity, but this is a topic that I love so much that I had to jump on and see how I can serve and add value to the conversation. It's so important that you share this information. And just for the audience to know, my husband and I are real estate agents here in the Northeast Florida area, but we started real estate investing when we were 19 years old, right? And so a lot of times we definitely don't think a teenager can do it, right? But even, sometimes we think we're too old. We've been serving our customers, and a lot of them are sometimes discouraged and think, oh, it's too late for me, or they just don't see how the possibility is for them to do that. And I want to encourage you that it is absolutely possible, right? And that you need to think about your why for doing this. There's so many benefits to purchasing a home that we could go into. This topic of this talk tonight is about building wealth, right? Generational wealth. And so asset wealth is a much more secure predictor of future financial stability than anything else. The caveat is that you just have to purchase a home you can afford. But when you're putting your money into home ownership versus rental, it's akin to putting your money in an investment account versus throwing it out the window, right? Well, I mean, you're not throwing it out the window when you rent, because of course you're paying for a safe space to stay, but at the same time, it's not a return to you, it's a return to the owner, right? So there are home ownership tax deductions that you can benefit from. You can amass equity in the home as you continue to pay it off, like Kiara's friend has done. We've done investing, and I can't tell you how many times God has used real estate to save our family from some very unfortunate life situations that we just did not foresee coming. But because we had a property that we could sell, or a property that we could leverage in one way or another, God used that to help us. So I want to really encourage. It's a lot of information sometimes and can be overwhelming to think, ooh, W-9 or, savings, or how I'm going to do that. But first, know your why. Know whether you're ready to be the one to break the generational curse in your family, right? Of renting, or no one in the family owning. Know if you're ready to step into that position where you're building a legacy. We have a customer, a veteran right now, who is building, and that's what she named her home, a legacy, because she's leaving it for her daughter and her granddaughter, right? So when you have a why that's big enough, that's more than just saying that you can own, this particular piece of dirt. It drives you to make the moves that you have to make. The process is not always pretty, but it drives you to make the moves that you have to make to get there. And that's what's key if we want to walk into the promises of God that he has for us, for that generational wealth that we read about in the Bible and that we say amen to and we touch and agree to. It's yours. But that mindset of walking into this process as the child of God that you know that you are is so, so important. And, we are in Orange Park in Jacksonville area, and I'm here to help Kiara answer any questions on the real estate side of things. But even if you don't have a realtor, we can connect you to awesome realtors in the Gainesville area, or my husband and I, we're the ones who will drive down there too if we can't find someone that you need. So thank you so much for this opportunity, Kiara, and I'm looking forward to the questions as well.
Thank you so much, Marie. And Marie is dropping nuggets, like, it is so powerful. And so if you're not necessarily as comfortable saying something like in front of everybody, type it in the chat bar. And there's no question that is like a dumb question. No question that is too small. Every question is a good question. And the only way we find the answers is if we ask it.
Yeah, I think one of the really good pieces of advice that you gave is, you don't always have to look for this dream home. The idea is, renting versus owning. And so even if I'm a young person just getting out of college or just starting working, and I know I'm going to be paying $1,000, $1,200 on a month on rent, what I can do if I put myself in a position where my income to debt ratio is in a good place, I can go and get something that, I know that I probably only want to be in for 3 or 4 years, and maybe go and buy a home for $130,000, a little condo or townhouse or something for $130,000. And then in 3 or 4 years, after I've earned, about 5% each year, appreciation, on that home, and in 5 years, I've made about $45,000 on that home, and in equity. And then I could sell that home and then now get into something and just continue to climb. And so it's a really good investment. You don't have to always shoot for the stars on the first one. It's just taking good care of your money. As a pastor, and before I came to Greater Bethel, I was in St. Augustine, and we had a lot of retired people that would move to St. Augustine. And a lot of people just sold their home up north. When they sold their home up north, then they scaled down because they're retired now. And so they scaled down, bought their house outright after selling their house up north, and had money to set aside to enjoy with their retirement income that came in. And so it's when you invest that money, even when you're ready for retirement and you have the mindset that you don't mind scaling down, it really puts you in a good position to where you can retire comfortably.
Yeah. And I see a question in the chat bar. This is a really good question. The question is, if you are denied from one lender, how many times should you try? And my answer is never stop trying, like never give up. And if you're denied by a lender and they don't give you a strategy on what to do, try again with someone who will give you a strategy. And I am definitely that person. Like, I strategize. So, because my passion is to help people, especially in the Black community, to become homeowners. And so I will labor, I will toil, I will reach out to supervisors, I will be Googling and searching and fighting to find a strategy, and we're gonna make it work. Now, I'm not saying we're gonna make it work in the next 30 days, maybe it might be a 1-year plan, it might be a 2-year plan, but if you get denied, then you need to get with a lender who is not going to just simply deny you, but give you a solution, a strategy. What steps can you take to move you forward? And I see Marie commented that I actually helped one of their customers today that way, which I did. And I felt bad. I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'm the bearer of bad news. We're not in a position to move forward, but this is what you can do to be in a position. So if you're denied, just talk to somebody else. And I'm more than willing to take some time to review and analyze your credit and give you the steps and the tips that you need so that you can get into that home, because it's important and you're worth it. And if somebody don't take the time, then they're not worth having your business if they don't take the time to give you a strategy to help you get into that home. How does being debt-free affect your ability to purchase a home property? Oh, it affects it amazing. Now, we still have the income factor, but like if your income is here and your debt is 0, you have so much more potential to qualify for, you know, more mortgage. But let me tell you something super important. You could technically qualify for more, but at the end of the day, the budget is the most important. So we want to not only see what you can qualify for, but we want to see what fits in your budget. But being debt free is a huge blessing. Now, at the same time, let's say you're debt free and you have nothing on your credit. Then we're in a situation, there are some options to where you can get a mortgage without a credit score. But I know since like COVID and everything and things kind of changing, my company has actually suspended that option. Just not my company, but the company we were using to get that done, they've suspended it since COVID. And so we would need a score. But let's say you're debt free and you just don't have no scores and it's just a clean slate. Come see me, because I can tell you what you need to do and what you need to apply for so that we can get some scores, and I can tell you how to, you know, go ahead and get a credit score. And so debt free could be phenomenal for your debt to income ratios, but it also could mean that there's no credit score either. So it's going to depend. And let's see, how often have you seen clients get approved that's on an IBR plan for student loans? Oh, I just had somebody this week. We're going to be closing next week. I can't wait. But they're on an income-based repayment plan. And guess how much their payment is? 0. And that was good, because if they was not on an income-based repayment plan, they would have got denied because they had so much student loans that their debt to income ratios would have been too high. But if you're on a debt, on an income-based repayment plan, that's a blessing for you, because those student loans are not affecting your debt ratios, because sometimes people's student loans hold them back from getting a home because they're so high and they're affecting their debt to income ratios. So praise the Lord for that income-based repayment plan. That'll help you out. So 57-month plan over, praise the Lord is all I can say. That's a blessing, because that's going to help you not be hurt so badly on the debt to income ratio side, being on that income-based repayment plan. And the key is not just simply being on the plan, but what I look for is, are your income-based repayments for the next 12 months. So if they're ending in a month, that's not going to help you too much, because I'm still going to have to calculate 1% of the student loan as like 1% debt, and like I have to add that in the calculations. But if we can prove that you're on this plan for the rest of 2021, and we have, that could be positive for you. So yeah, praise the Lord. I like these comments in the chat bar. Let me see. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think people just really need to put thought into it. And sometimes in some of our communities, when we go through issues, just like we did in 2007, 2008, when the housing market crashed, you know, there were some people that made out huge. And there were some people that suffered because they didn't have a plan after plan 1 didn't work. And so I think what we really have to make sure that we're paying attention to, because right now it's been almost a year since the CDC guidelines and the state that they've made it so you couldn't have evictions based on inability to pay rent during this pandemic. And so it could get pushed off and pushed off. Well, what that means is when you can't have evictions, that might work good for the tenant, but you got a landlord that still has a mortgage every month that they have to pay. And so they have that mortgage that they have to pay every month, and they're almost going on a year to where they can't evict those tenants. And so you're going to have a lot of homeowners that are paying it without the income, paying their mortgages without the income, because they can't collect from the tenants. And many are going to give those homes up, and they're going to give those homes up, and they're going to go in foreclosure. And this is the time for people that are prepared, that when and these are different types of foreclosures. Some foreclosures you have where people just been in there a long time and just ransack the house. But these are foreclosures where people are actually living in the houses and they didn't just destroy the house before they left. And so you're going to have good homes. You're going to have nice, well taken care of homes that are going to go through a foreclosure process, or people try to sell quickly before it gets to the foreclosure process. And if you are prepared, this is an opportunity to build wealth, because land, you build wealth when you purchase land.
Yeah. And Daddy, you remind me something that I don't think I said a word about. He talked about foreclosures, the where the property just tore up from the floor up, probably real cheap, look horrible, and you definitely don't want to move in it. Those are opportunities too. There is a type of loan called a Fannie Mae Homestyle Renovation Loan. There's also another type called an FHA 203K loan. They differ though. The FHA 203K can just simply repair what is already there, but the Fannie Mae Homestyle Renovation Loan allows you to do whatever you want. Add a pool, a garage, just you can do whatever you want because it's a renovation loan. And let's say that you only had a budget of $120,000, and there was this home that was foreclosed, and it was in a good neighborhood, and the properties around it had good value, and it was actually a really good opportunity, but that home just looked horrible. You could get a Fannie Mae Homestyle Renovation Loan, get a contractor who's going to basically, give you a bid. And when you do that loan, they have to actually give it to the mortgage company, who verifies to make sure they're not overcharging for stuff. And that home could be completely revamped. So let's say you get the home for $50K, you do $50K of renovations. So now you spend $100K on the home, but then after it's revamped, it's worth $150K. And you got immediate equity because you were able to be patient and wait 3 months before you moved into the home, to allow them to finish the renovation project. So that is a powerful tool where people with not necessarily big housing budgets could still have something really beautiful with a good contractor and just a nice scenario where you're getting this beat up, crappy home, but is in a nice neighborhood and could have good value if it wasn't so ugly. And then there was a good question about, where was that question? Oh, about credit scores. And is it too early? Wait, how do I get to that question? Where is it? Oh, there it goes. So someone says that their credit score, one of the scores is over 650, another one is, around 620. Should we wait to apply until we get on 640? My personal opinion on this is it's never too early to apply. There's the credit scores that you look on at Credit Karma, and then there's the actual score that the lender is going to use, and it could be completely different. And then there's what you think that could do to help your score mortgage-wise, and then there's what actually could help your score mortgage-wise. And so if you, my goal is to purchase a home in December or January, so almost a year out. I did an application this month to see exactly where me and my husband stand. And I ran simulators to see exactly what we need to do so that we'll be ready. So now I'm excited and I'm dreaming about this house and this land. But guess what? I'm not just like kind of going after this goal and not exactly, I know exactly what I need to do from a mortgage lender standpoint to reach that goal. So it's never too early to apply. And I don't think that you should wait, because honestly, if the score needs to be boosted, if there's possibilities there for your score to go up within the next month or even instantly, there, we don't always use this, but sometimes we can do what's called a rapid rescore, where I can literally tell you, I've seen accounts where I'm like, if you do this, this, and that, your score will go up 50 points. And it could literally be where I'm able to do rapid rescore on that account and that trade line, prove that they did what I just said, and now their score is up. And so it's never too early to apply, because now you got a specific game plan and you know exactly where you stand and what you need, as opposed to just working on estimates. Because I've had people work on their stuff for months and then they finally come and then they're still not where they thought that they were. And so then they still got to wait, because then I give them a strategy. And so it never hurts to apply too early. And then I think I've seen another question. Oh, this is a really good question. If I have a good credit score, would you advise to buying a home if I'm still in college? I don't want to give you specific advice on what you should do, but I'm going to tell a story. There was a girl who was entering in college. She did some research and she had saved up money. And what she did was she purchased a home while she was in college, and she ended up paying what she would have paid for rent. And then when she graduated college, she had a home with equity that she was able to sell and give her a step up. So I just want to say you're never too young. But I think it's something that you definitely should look into, because I mean, if you're paying for your living anyway, why not look into some possible opportunities? It doesn't hurt to at least look into it and start doing some research, see what you qualify for, and see what it would take and what that whole scenario might look like. Let's see. Does applying to determine where you are and determine next steps adversely impact your credit score? Yes. So when you apply for any new line of credit, basically what you're telling the creditors is, hey, I'm trying to get some more debt. Because you're trying to get more debt, your score will actually drop, not a significant drop, but your score will drop some, and I guess it will just vary depending on what your situation is and how many times you have applied. And then how I put it, your score, it will drop. But one thing I will say is it's a temporary drop, and then it will typically go back up. And if you're in the range in the next like 90 days or so of buying a home, that score that we saw, we actually can use that for a little while. And then we could just do what's called a refresh. So it's not like a full pull. And so, yes, it would. And so that's why if you're going to purchase a home, I wouldn't go and start like applying for credit cards and different things like that, because it might not get the result that you're hoping that it could get. But it would adversely affect your score. But to me, it's worth it because it's helping me to be able to see exactly where I'm at and get the steps that I need to go, and it'll lift up over time anyway. So if you're ready, it's worth it. And even if you're not ready, the time that you're getting prepared and the little bit of score drop to get the steps and strategy, I think it's worth it.
Did you see that one about the college student?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I answered that one.
Okay.
But you can put your feet back on it too.
I didn't. I was looking for your information that they were asking for and didn't hit answer. But I think it's. I was talking to Aiden, Kiera's cousin, and her mom was telling me that she had a lot of financial aid and scholarships and things like that, and I was saying you got two sides to it. To where if you're already going to pay rent, it could be a good investment if you have the understanding of all the responsibilities of home ownership. And so if you want to just go to college and not have to deal with all those other responsibilities that do come up, might not be a good idea. But if you have a good understanding of home ownership and all the different expenses that come with it, you could go and purchase. I remember when my children were in college, purchase a little condo and they get a roommate, and then and then you get money from the roommate, and so they can get money from the roommate that could take care of their living expenses. And as a parent, I didn't have to try to give them money because they were collecting rent from the roommate. But if you were buying on your own, you can buy a little 2-bedroom place, and then the income that you get from your roommate, if you get a good deal and you don't have to live like a rock star, you could actually pay your mortgage. And once 4 years or 6 years is up, you actually leave college with a little bit of equity and able to step into your first home or sell it to, for a good start.
Yeah. So if you was a college student like me, it wouldn't have worked out, because I like to go on the student government trips. I wasn't committed to nobody's job. If they didn't let me take my little vacation, I was quitting.
It's more of an opportunity for parents. Instead of having to pay for it, you can get this place, then your child can get a roommate, and then you don't have to keep giving money every month because your child is collecting the rent. And then when your child is finished with school, you didn't just give away 4 or 6 years of rent money. So it can be a good investment. It just depends on who's doing the investing and their mindset.
Yeah, I mean, and I know some people, their situation is completely different for college than me. Like Some people, they are 18 and they are grown and they are fully independent and they've been working a job before they turn 18 and they're super responsible and they know if they don't hold the fort down, the fort ain't held down. Probably be great for you because you were all irresponsible like me. But yeah.
Somebody sent me a direct message, but I think it's probably for you. It says, is it 15 days that you have to run and all with lenders to where it count as one inquiry?
Yeah. So let's say that you wanted to get apply multiple times, but you don't want it to seem like multiple inquiries. If you do it within like 15 or 14 day period, it just is like one inquiry. And let's see. If my child is in college, can they buy a home and have me co-sign the loan to help them? I'm gonna call him out. This is my supervisor, y'all, and he is amazing. And I'm so grateful because he's the one who brought me on with the company I'm with. So Jason, I'm just calling you out. That's a great question he put on the line. So totally, you could totally co-sign to help your child to get a home the way that you could co-sign with anything else, and your income and your debt to income ratios, if you have positive ratios and positive income and positive credit score, could positively affect them. For sure, you could do that.
And then that's the income that child that they receive from rent from their friend. That's theirs. They don't have to spend so much time working. That can be their living expenses to the parent. That can be their living expenses, and all you do is just worry about the mortgage. And so that's less money coming out. So now you tell them that you have to manage, that $600 or $700 that you're getting every month because that's your money, and you can't call on me.
Yeah. And I mean, in a college town, if you got like a 3-bedroom house, that means you can collect rent on 2 of the rooms, if you cool with roommates. And then what's my social media handle website? Let me see. Give me just a second. So Facebook, and I'm gonna go right on my page and I'm just gonna copy it. And it's Mortgage with Kiara. Okay, so I'm gonna copy that right in there. Mortgage with Kiara is my social media. And then my website is kiarahall.leader1.com. Also, you could Google Kiara Hall, Gainesville, Florida, and you'll see my Google business page come up as well. And on my Google business page, it even allows you to book like a free 15-minute consultation with me, where you get, we could talk personally and you could ask questions and stuff. Can you talk about first-time homebuyers program? Yes, I can. So first-time homebuyer program, I'm guessing you probably talking about like down payment assistance programs for first-time homebuyers. The one that I am super familiar with, and it actually is not a first-time homebuyer program, could be for anybody. And I'll share it real quick, but this is the one that I use right now. And then I know we're going to be getting some more on board, and there's other ones, but I'm only going to share the one that I'm familiar with because that's all I know. So I'm gonna share my screen real quick and I'm gonna go and let's see, Chenoa program. And there we go. So the Chenoa one is one that I use. It's like a nationwide program and they have different options. And I'm gonna actually pull up on my other computer to see what the different options are. So for the Chenoa program, they have where you could either get 3.5% of the purchase price down payment assistance or 5%. And where's my flyer at? There we go. I got 2 separate computers. There's my work computer. I wish I could show on the screen this flyer, but I'm gonna just keep this up on the screen so y'all kind of see what I'm talking about. But basically with the Chenoa program, we got 3 options for down payment assistance. We got 3.5%, and then we got 5% down payment assistance. And what we're looking at is your income. If your income is equal to, for the Chenoa program, they have where you can either get 3.5% of the purchase price, that's 5% down payment assistance. And is your income. If your income is equal for the Chenoa program, they have. Is that mine doing? I think that might be mine that did that when I went off. I don't know.
That was me trying to share your link.
Oh, okay. I thought I did that when I went on Facebook. I was like, ooh, let me hear from exit Facebook. But this is if you have 115% of the average income median or less, we could do like a deferred and forgivable second mortgage, which basically means like after you paid on time over a certain amount of time, they basically wipe away even the responsibility of it. And then we also have some to where we can stretch it out over full 30 years, which essentially it's like you're financing the whole mortgage as opposed to having to come up with a down payment out of pocket. And then it covers like the FHA required down payment plus some closing costs or prepaids, and it's available at all states. So that's what I use. And there is also no first-time home buyer requirement or income limit. And typically the way that this works is that if you qualify for the first mortgage, you pretty much will get the down payment assistance if we get you qualified for the first one. And so it's not, I know there are some ones that they have like in Gainesville to where it's on like a government program or it can run out or different things like that, but it's not like those. What about SHIP? Yeah, so that's the ones I was talking about. Like, so I'm not super familiar with SHIP. Is anybody familiar with SHIP or neighborhood housing programs? I don't know much about it.
You know what SHIP does? It's a government program to where there's a larger portion that they'll be able to commit to the purchase. Sometimes at certain times when the process tightens up, there's just a certain amount of money that's allocated. A lot of times it's for affordable housing, but it's a program that assists with down payment, a larger portion of the down payment. And you just have to apply for that through whatever entity that's in your city or county that offers it. And sometimes you can work directly with the banks, mortgage companies.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if you were going to do this again, but they're a member of the church, so I wanted to let them know that with our financial wellness ministry, there are going to be different things that we're going to focus on each month and workshops that we're going to offer. So as far as mortgages, that might be a few months down the road as we go through the cycle of financial wellness and working on our financial health. But if someone has, like, say, I think this person is in the lay organization, or if someone's with a different organization, you can get with Kiera and she could make a presentation to your group. But as far as the financial wellness with our monthly workshop, it'll be different topics that we'll work on. And so mortgages might come up again 6 months down the road.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought that starting off our first workshops with home ownership was a perfect time, just with everything that's going on and with the interest rates and the opportunity. I wanted to just kind of put this on everybody's radar and get people to start thinking about it if you weren't already thinking about it, and even take some of the pressure off of it. Like, don't be embarrassed if you like your credit is tore up from the floor up. Hey, my credit done been tore up from the floor up just because I made some stupid mistakes. So don't be ashamed, because some people, they're like embarrassed to submit their application about what I'm going to see. And I'm like, honestly, I don't think this could be more embarrassing than going to the doctor, because going to the doctor is just weird to me, especially if they have to do a physical. But yeah, let's see. I said a reminder. Okay. But yeah, so don't be ashamed with me, because I'm open book. I'm transparent. I'm not judging anybody. My whole mission is just to help. And also I'm very confidential, so I'm not gonna let anybody know that your credit is tore from the floor up if it is, okay? If I share a testimony about how I helped you, I will never use your name or give any description or any idea of who you are. But I will say that I helped someone, but I will not share who it was.
I think we did good. We're just at about an hour, and so that was the time we were looking at. I'm looking on our financial wellness ministry. The whole idea is to, you know, we look at our physical health and you look at things like that, but we also have to look at our financial health, and it helps our physical health when we don't have that stress that weighs on our body, and then it helps with leaving a legacy for our families. And so I want to say that Kiara has done a wonderful job. And each month we'll be offering some type of workshop that helps strengthen our financial wellness here at Greater Bethel. And I'm looking forward to an amazing year, 2021. I think if we can get focused financially, focus on our financial health as well as our physical health and our mental health, I think there's some great things in store for us. And so, Kiara, I'm looking forward to you doing a wonderful job.
Yes, and we got like 3 minutes till 8. If anybody has any like topics or ideas that you would love to hear about, because the schedule is not complete for the year, and we'll be meeting every month for the financial wellness. So I have like a list of ideas and things that I want to share, but maybe I'm not thinking of something that's really important to you, and I totally could include it in the schedule. So feel free to comment on the post important financial like topics that are financial and important to you. Feel free to comment in Zoom or wherever, reach out and let me know. I would love to hear what you want to hear so that I'm serving everyone best and really sharing information that meets the needs of the people.
Kiara, remember, they can go to gbgville.com and on the groups, pick the financial wellness group and join that group, and also give you recommendations. So if you visit gbgville.com and where it says groups, just click groups and go into the financial wellness ministry. And in there, you can participate in chats and discussions and introduce topic ideas for each month. And that's at gbgville.com under groups.
Oh, and I see a hand raise. I don't know if it's an accident, but.
Kiara, that was me. Do you mind if I say something real quick?
No, I don't mind at all.
First of all, I just want to say great job tonight. It was a great presentation. You know, everybody who's on this call tonight, you guys tuned in for one reason or another. You have some interest, you have some desire to learn more about the home buying process, about building wealth, about creating a legacy for your family for the future. Guys, I can tell you, I've known Kiara for 4 months, 5 months now, personally, one-on-one. And I don't know that I've ever met anyone more passionate about just helping people understand their true potential than this young lady right here. And I couldn't be more proud of her for everything that she's done. So you have questions. I know these events are a little difficult sometimes to think of all the questions. I encourage anyone on the call, reach out to her, send her an email, shoot her a text, give her a call, sit down with her, allow her to go through just a financial checkup with you of where you stand today and what it's going to take for you to reach your goals and your dreams, be it just home ownership, be it creating more wealth for you and your family, getting out of living paycheck to paycheck, whatever your dreams might be. Give this young lady a call. She has a wealth of knowledge, and she just truly has a desire and a heart to help people. And I just love her to death. I think she did a fantastic job tonight. So I just wanted to speak up and say that. So
thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. I got the best supervisor ever.
We're good? All right, everybody. You all go out there and make sure that you're financially healthy. And it'll put a big smile on your face and take a lot of stress off. God bless you, and visit gbgville.com. You click on groups and go to that financial wellness page, and you can join that page, and you all can participate in conversation and give Kiera topics each month. She's going to come back. It's always going to be that final Tuesday at 7:00, and she'll come with new topics as you give her suggestions, just so that we can build wealth. We call this one rebuilding wealth through home ownership. And so God bless you all. Have a wonderful week.
Good night.